Joe, at what point did you find out from coach that you were going to start, and how do you think you guys handled that first half?
When we came in from warm-ups, obviously we knew Jalen wasn't feeling well, but when we came in from warm-ups, they informed me that I'd be going out there. So all part for the course.
You don't get a lot of reps, I guess, with like Devontae and obviously been out. Some of the other guys. What was that like trying to kind of get on the same page?
Oh, you throw routes on air with them and stuff like that. You always get a couple reps with them here and there. And listen, sometimes that stuff's overrated. When you go out there and you play in a game, it just is what it is. You make the most of it, especially in my role. I mean, that's part of it. With what I'm doing right now, I could get thrown in there at any point, and it doesn't matter that I don't have reps with people. It's just the nature of the business.
How do you think the offense responded to kind of that, change in the plan?
Well, hey, I mean, you just kind of go with the flow. It's an NFL game. I mean, everybody's still getting pumped up and getting ready to go and getting their minds right to play an NFL game. And we came out there and got a couple first downs, and then kind of just hit a wall after that, and weren't able to kind of turn it over and get any momentum going in our favor, and it kind of carried through the rest of the night.
Sample, but how'd you feel like your connection with Devontae was? There were a few catches,
Right. I mean, it wasn't like it was just some little stuff here and there. I mean, stuff that you would expect to kind of connect on. It wasn't like it was anything crazy down the field. I mean, we did take a shot. I took a shot down to him on the sideline. So obviously I think we would have liked to do a little bit better job, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it was anything crazy or pressing. And it was good to see him get out there and run some routes and against some press coverage and some physicality out there. So that's always good to kind of get him in there and get him some action anyway.
On that back shoulder, is that something that you alert him to pre-snap?
No, it's just kind of feel when you take your drop and you see how he's doing on his route, and was he pressed to begin with? That usually has something to do with it. But he's one of those guys that most of the time you're going to expect him to get a good release and run by the guy, or at least put himself in good position to throw it over the top. But that's just kind of how I saw that one and how it played out.
At what point did you see Jalen hurt before the game, and at what point did you realize he was having the stomach distress?
I didn't really know. Somebody alerted me the fact that something might be happening, and obviously he went through warm-ups and things like that, so I didn't really think too much of it. And like I said, it's just kind of the nature of this business. You have to be ready to go at any time. So.
Joe, you've obviously. It's also a reminder. I mean, you kind of hit on it there. A reminder, you've been just so many times that anything can happen at any point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it all. You never. I mean, this was probably a little bit of a new situation, but you can compare it to something, and like I said, what were they going to play 1 or 2 series tonight anyway? So. You're kind of going out there getting your mindset to play early on at any point.
Hey, Joe, you've seen a lot of preseasons in your career. In your experience, is there a correlation between preseason performance and regular season performance?
It's tough. It's probably just different across the league, depending on what your philosophies are and things like that. I think, it really. I mean, I think Peyton Manning back then, they used to go 0-4 or 0-5 if they played in the Hall of Fame game, and it didn't matter at all. But I think depending on the type of style that you play and how much you end up playing your starters and things like that, those things all make, it's nuanced.
So, Joe, what kind of changed today? You guys had 2 pretty successful practices, and it didn't carry over. You've seen it all, as you said. Why do you think that kind of thing happened?
Well, listen, you have to come out and prove it every single day in this league. Just because you do something one day doesn't mean you're guaranteed anything the next. And practices aren't games. So, we have to learn how to, carry, one thing into the next and keep building on things and stacking positive days. And the more of those you have and the more that you do, then the more wins you come away with. So it's just part of the learning experience. And, hopefully we can take out of it what we can and get the positives and move on in a positive way.
Now, Nick has spoken to us about the element of surprise with Week 1 because it's a new staff and a new system. Do you find you guys are more vanilla in the preseason than you typically would be?
Listen, you have to talk to those guys on that one. The bottom line as players is we're trying to run their offense and do whatever we can and to be successful. And, preseason games in a player's mind, it might seem like they're different, but believe me, they're not. It's still an NFL football game, and you have to get yourself ready to go play. And you want to be successful. You want to do well. I mean, this is our profession. We want to go out there and we want to play well and all that. So, it's tough for me to comment necessarily on, what we're doing now versus what we're going to do in the season and all that.